Question number 3. What will OceanSide be focused on in the month of February? Now, if you go and you pick up our bulletin and you look on the back page, you'll see that each month has exactly what we're supposed to be doing, and this month is supposed to be a congregational activity, and Glenn announced it, didn't he? Going to have a chili supper during the month of February. But we were in a leadership meeting not long ago, and we got to talking about some things, and after talking about a particular subject, the elders thought, we really need to support this mission work at some point during the course of this year. Now, we realize that we've just come off 2024, and you've given $60,000 above budget. That's a lot of money. And we know that we just supported Chamala Mission last month in the amount of almost $3,000 over budget. But it is very important that this work about which we're about to speak gets support as quickly as possible. Folks, the mission work involves the victims of Hurricane Helene that transpired way back in the month of September. Let's talk about some facts regarding this Hurricane Helene. That hurricane made landfall on September the 26th, 2024 in Florida's Big Bend area, and it was a Cat 4 hurricane. And as it trekked across the United States, it barely slowed down, which is very unusual for a hurricane. The storm's path was 400 miles in length. The storm area included Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. What a storm, isn't it? I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the storm's path. Straight up through Tallahassee, Macon, Atlanta, Chattanooga, all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. That is a long path, is it not? A long path. It killed 230 individuals, making it one of the worst hurricanes ever on record. And it wasn't the impact upon the coast, although that was powerful. It wasn't the wind speed of the hurricanes, although that was powerful, folks. It was the rainfall that took the toll. There is one day of rain on the weather map. If you'll notice right around where the red is, that's the Tennessee, North Carolina area. 30 plus inches of rain fell in about 24 to 48 hours. That is a lot of rain, isn't it? The damage estimates, $95 billion to $110 billion. I can't even count to a billion. I have trouble after 1,000. $1 billion. The storm caused 2,000 landslides and disrupted, at least in some portion, 8,000 roads in these areas. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Homes and businesses were destroyed. In some cases, entire towns were decimated. The infrastructure within all of those places was either destroyed or severely damaged. Folks, our fellow citizens are still struggling at this very hour. I want you to look at just a few pictures of some of the places. That is debris in Lake Lure after that hurricane. You can't even see the water because of the debris that was thrown into that lake. Unbelievable. And it's a huge lake. There's a flooded river that not only flooded, but also took out a road in the course of that flooding. There is one section of Asheville, North Carolina. The parking lot of that Walgreens is totally destroyed, and the roads all around it are inaccessible. These are homes in Bat Cave, North Carolina. How would you like to have been living there when that storm came through? These are homes in and around Chimney Rock, North Carolina, that were destroyed. That's a before and after picture, and it's hard to see, but you'll see the little before picture up on the left-hand corner. Beautiful, perfect road. The picture below it, there is no road. Totally, completely wiped out in Chimney Rock. There's another town in North Carolina. You see, we're not there. We don't see it. We're not suffering. And so, out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? The present needs. Folks, they desperately need shelter in these areas. I saw yesterday they were driving by and the Amish had come, and they had built a small, tiny house for a family. Right beside it was their home that was destroyed. But due to government regulations, they wouldn't let them live in the tiny house. Isn't that crazy? There are people up there that are living in tents. I want you to think about how cold it was a week and a half ago. People in here were bundled up in 30-degree weather like it was below 50. Can you imagine living up there, living in a tent, sleeping in sleeping bags? Not just you, but you've got 2 little children that are 3 or 4 or 5 years old trying to survive. Propane gas heaters are desperately needed. Food distributions are being made 3 to 4 times a week in the area, trying to get food to people in mountainous locations where roads have been cut off. Water deliveries are constantly being made. There's need of hygiene products and also medications for those individuals. Now, right after those hurricanes came through, the OceanSide congregation tried to respond, didn't we? We have a clothing closet. We asked you to bring clothes, and you responded well. We collected over 30 boxes of clothes. But we called, and guess what? That was not the pressing need. Apparently, that's the first thing everybody gives is clothes. They had warehouses full of clothes. Nobody to go through them, nobody to distribute them. So we took those boxes and we donated those to our veterans here in Jacksonville, Florida. It was not a wasted, benevolent act by any means, folks. Those veterans needed them desperately. The main need right now in North Carolina, CASH. Pronounced money. That's what's needed desperately. We found a congregation in Tennessee, the Crossville congregation, that have been and still are collecting donations for that particular region of our nation. Up to this point in time, they have collected about $200,000 of donation from the churches of Christ. They take those donations and they individually go and find the families and hand those families the money to take care of their needs. It is not distributed to some organization and then distributed out. They find exactly who needs exactly what is needed and give them the money to take care of those needs. During the month of February, all money over budget will be contributed to the storm victims of Hurricane Helene.